Made it pretty fucking far, SF put in all the work. Now we look like shooting stars, bitch, we barely on this earth. Look Got up. It tatted on the arm, yeah, it's SF to the hearse. Turn the SF right around as fuck, shit, you getting man, first,
don't take any of this shit seriously.
Okay, sprinkle some sassafras on that.
Look, we got the Rapcast crew in the stew.
No Skittles trying to make me eat ass.
Like some new tattooing.
Remember like
I'm with it.
The
taint bow? Because if ass tastes like Skittles, I'm going in nose first.
With all the crazy shit that goes into Skittles, I imagine ass is one of them.
Yeah. What's in Skittles anyway?
I don't know. So, apparently it's something worse than paint thinner. I don't know.
That makes sense why it fucking locks up your jaw when you try to eat more than 3 of them.
It's a sweet candy you're having there. And I'm sweet on whoever's listening to this podcast.
Wait, are you recording?
Yeah.
Fuck it, we gotta do the whole
Are you sure?
You were my transition. Okay. It's Valentine's Day podcast.
And boy, am I sweet on you. My boyfriend.
No. Okay, now we actually have to start again.
No, we don't. That one's a good one. That's a good way to start.
I'm here with my gal.
We're about to gab for a solid hour and a half. Gossip. Nothing says Valentine's Day like gossiping with your gal pals.
Who needs girls anyway?
Let's go through something that we all love. I'll start with Josh. Josh, what do you love? What are you loving right now?
This
sweater.
Nothing.
Come on.
Nothing.
Okay, let's see what kind of time it is for Josh this Valentine's Day. Alex, what's something that you're loving right now?
I'm gonna be doing honestly on Valentine's Day. I'm actually gonna be just maybe going to Toronto or Hamilton or something, just spend a me day.
Yeah, there you go.
That's nice. You gotta love yourself first.
And that's Josh, and that's Alex, and I'm Andrew.
Yeah.
Let's get that out of the darn way.
I'm drippy, and I'm dripping on the floor today. Not just because I'm so wet all the time, but because this... Okay. I'm sorry, man.
Get your actual girlfriend that you love.
First of all, I love you, baby, and I want you to be my girlfriend forever. But second of all, I love this sweater, which... I wouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for me complaining out loud and my girl just being like, just send them an email and they'll get back to you. And they got it.
And they did.
Yeah, and so...
There you go.
And then I tweeted about it, and some guy commented underneath, "What? Oh, I didn't get mine either." And so I just pedantically explained the situation to him, and he didn't respond. And I think he was probably making fun of... He thought I was making fun of him for not having a girlfriend or something like that. Maybe well, maybe if you weren't such a fucking virgin, you would,
Well,
because he should have given the like back at least,
Fair.
An obligatory like to a reply.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's common courtesy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Twitter etiquette.
Haven't we been learning a few or two things about Twitter?
Oh God.
And you don't want to poke the bear.
We'll get into that in a bit.
We will be getting into it, but
I'll give off something that I love real quick.
Right.
Girlfriend. Our new song. We dropped a new song. It's called "Let It Breathe."
I mean, you said that she doesn't watch this, so
she might. She's listened to it twice, so that's true love right there. Listening to our shitty music, not once but twice. It's on YouTube, SoundCloud. Well, YouTube, SoundCloud, visualizer is on this page. It's going to be linked somewhere up on the screen or something in the description.
In all seriousness, if you're listening to this, take our rap careers seriously like we are, okay? This is a big year for us. We haven't put out a song in forever.
Yeah.
You've been doing your fanny pack thing.
Please don't call the cops out now. Link in bio. We're trying to do some shows if you're in the GTA area. We're going to be doing some shows, hopefully, in the spring, summertime.
The promo for that is still ongoing.
It's still,
But
we're working on the details.
Saying Q1 2023 is kind of about the SF boys reorienting the business a little bit. We're going to start a website.
We've had some meetings. That'll go live soon.
better.
I know we talked about this like a year ago, but we are going to actually try to get on Spotify.
Yes, God damn it, yeah.
Not everyone listens to podcasts on YouTube, so it's like you're just... limiting the amount.
Exactly, and I think what we're shooting for is episode 50. That's the goal. So this is 48, I think. So in a few episodes. Anyway, enough semantics. Go listen to the song. It's actually hard as shit. I love it. One of our best. It's funny. It's also a little bit real. I think Josh nails it at the tail end of getting all the feelings out in the song. Where me and Alex are little bit more goofy, and then Josh brings it home, and also with the goofiness as well. The goofy
it was the last week or so before you moved away.
Yeah.
So I was feeling really...
A whole 20 minutes.
It was a weird time in our lives that now that it's like 2 years ago, we can kind of like look back on on the progress and say like, you know...
I was feeling very sensitive.
The SF gang's forever. Okay, just because we don't live next door to each other like back in the...
Yeah, we still see each other as much as we would have, I think, probably.
It's just a massive burden on me because I have to drive 20 minutes, okay? A 20-minute drive... over the Skyway? Oh.
So enough of this love crap out of the way.
Yeah. Fuck
Let's get some beef off. So recently...
Like, first of all, any other quick hits we want to give...
What's that noise?
Yeah, first of all, what the hell is that noise? It's probably just... I think the heater's like fucked, kind of.
Yeah. World War III probably starting up over there.
Alright, yeah, getting bombed right now.
No, I just wanted... If you had any lyrics that you wanted to clarify... the meaning behind in your song and your verse, you know, because like, for one, like, you never had a Fu Manchu,
no,
really, but
I had
the concept
varying degrees of the full beard.
We've all had shitty beards, and I literally did have the mutton chops at one point in high school, like where I just kept the like bottom of the goatee and just had the mutton chops. The point being, we all experimented with some pretty awful looks over the years. But, you know, it's kind of about coming out of that high school awkwardness phase. And, like, now, I mean, Josh, his shit do be looking crispy.
Thank you.
And
I actually want to shave in a couple days.
Yeah, I'm shaving tomorrow.
Yeah. Just the neck.
Because mine's, my neck, and my shit's a little...
It's
growing a little bit
but
much up here, but...
It's like, I'm pretty happy with the way things are looking right now.
But like more than just beards, like you really did wear your blazer.
Yeah,
like
I did wear a blazer,
not at school. Like, and I thought that was so
sports
weird.
Coat, sports jacket.
It was not my school blazer. It was like
a sports coat or something.
I said like a sports coat because I was a Rush head at the time.
Yeah.
And Alex Lifeson, the guitarist, would always like wear that shit. Where he always wear like sports coats and shit like that when he's playing live. So I'm like,
I thought it was just because you were such a pro that you were like, I'm
taking all these people,
taking my life seriously.
I'm
like,
not that cool.
Yeah. I think I'm on. But you also rock the fedora, like the early type.
That's true, yeah. I remember you had a bejeweled like falcon on this fedora, and that was like the craziest shit in the world.
This was before the memes.
That was nuts. I know,
yeah. I was before the memes, before the fedora hate. I bought it. I bought that specific one
Italy?
in New York.
Oh, in New York, yeah.
This guy going to New York City.
Got a steal on that one.
I bought it in the black market. And I'm like because I was also big on Indiana Jones at the time.
Yeah.
Even though that fedora is nothing like Indiana Jones whatsoever. What were we talking about?
Just like lyrics.
Songs that we want to clarify.
Well, just lyrics from the song. I mean,
let it breathe. I want to say when I said dragon on my shoulder, that's Komodo.
I don't really get it.
Obviously, I'm not stupid. I know Komodo dragons are the fucking huge ones. It was because at the time I was seriously thinking about getting a fucking bearded dragon just to have like chilling on my shoulder when I was living at the apartment, and I'm like, that'll be kind of swag.
Iguana or something.
Yeah, well, a bearded dragon is the one I was looking at specifically, and I'm like, dragon on my shoulder. I need something that rhymes with Yoko Ono, and I got there.
I never really understood that one because I thought that it was like dragon on my. I thought that was like a brand where there was a dragon like logo on the shoulder.
No, because I wanted a lizard, and then I moved back here, and I don't really have fucking space for it. So.
Yeah. But it would be crazy to actually have a Komodo dragon on your shoulder.
Yeah,
it'd have to be like a baby. It'd have to be a baby or something, like not a fully grown
baby alligator.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
But yeah, it's crazy that dragons are real,
And they breathe fire, and they steal princesses. Speaking of princesses, the most recent hip hop princess of our time, Ice Spice.
Oh my god!
I tried. I'm my transition game. I'm working on it. I'll let you and Josh take this one mostly. Alex, I'll let you introduce this little topic.
Okay.
Because we kind of hated on Ice Spice. Also, watch our big 3-part end of the year extravaganza podcast that'll be linked on the screen and below for our top 10 albums of the year list and a bunch of other shit. On the second episode of the 3 parts, we mentioned, most overrated worst new artists. I mentioned Yeet, and Alex mentioned Ice Spice. And he seemed to have doubled down on his take on Twitter, and the results were astonishing.
So
astonishing sounds to be bigger than it
is. It's huge.
This happened 6 days ago. So last week it was like Thursday night, late at night, and I saw this hip hop Twitter just shows you stuff that it's just bait. Like people baiting you into a debate, you know?
Because then it drives clicks and drives traffic, obviously.
And this guy, Your Old Droog, who is verified, and apparently some rappers follow him. I think he's like a producer or some shit.
Droog, yeah, I've heard. I think he might be a rapper. Yeah.
He says Ice Spice understands branding better than these motherfuckers who've been rapping for 20 plus years. To which I reply, here we go again with this take. It's awful music. End of story. So
that was not the end of the story, it turns out.
No, but that was just the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
I had...
Nikki?
Yeah, 23 replies.
Yeah.
The Ice Spice stands found it.
Wow, yeah.
And
it's not the demographic you might think Ice Spice fans are. A lot of older men, it seems. At least for I wasn't involved in this. Josh got into it a little bit. I kind of just perused it.
I was just backing up my boy, you know?
Yeah, I liked most of the
pretty
tweets,
much all demographics jumped in. A lot of them replies were just people telling me, like, well, that take didn't mention anything about the quality. Well, that doesn't change anything. The marketing is so good. Like,
if you're marketing shit, it's still shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
But that's not even really my point. It's just that, like, people will try to find something positive to say about something that's really popular. Like, oh, but you gotta admit, the branding. Yeah. The branding
you
is
gotta
sick.
admit is the most fucking, like...
You gotta admit is the
ultimate... Tit-sucking fucking, like...
Yeah, it's
suck up fucking thing to say to these people that don't care about you at all, like...
I understand there's many different types of cringy opinions to have on the internet about music. And the kind of, like, old head backpack guy who insists that... well, it's not real music unless it's fucking, lyrical miracle. Yeah. Like, I'm not that guy, but it looked kind of more like I was that type of dude.
Right.
But I think an even cringier type of internet person to be is the caping for the artist that's popular right now that people are hating on, just so that you don't look like a hater.
Yeah.
And you have something different to say.
All right. Get up there now. All right, it's part of the podcast now. All right.
Want to hear about our people
on
Twitter?
The point is, these people are just dick riding.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to be honest, and I also, like lots of people, this one guy, my main beef was this guy called Michael Apple, okay?
He's the guy who runs Apple, right?
Yes.
Michael Apple, yeah, the very own.
And he just keeps responding, that wasn't what the original post was about, though.
This doesn't mean that it's completely irrelevant. Like, if you were talking about fucking a new recipe for fucking mac and cheese, that would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, it's Twitter. You're talking about the artist in question. It's not maybe to the same capacity, but you're opening up a discussion, right? In a sense.
Honestly, like, I'm just hating on it because I think people are just accepting, like, crappy music just because, like,
Well, we theorized at the 2 podcasts ago that she's not going to really be around. Like, it's going to be one of those things that, like, a year from now, we're going to be thinking about, oh, yeah, remember Ice Spice stuff? Maybe not a year, but who knows if she'll get on the XXL freshman list this year. That maybe is something to discuss, but...
Yeah, and then, at the end of the day, if you're out there, you like Ice Spice, that's cool. You can enjoy it for yourself, but I'm kind of annoyed when, like, really terrible stuff, like, leaks out into, like, oh, now we all have to accept this, and we all have to... Oh, if you hate on it, you're being a hater, and you're a virgin, and you're a weak, and somebody responded, just with the whole "it's not for you" argument.
Yeah.
Which I don't really buy. Yeah, you're not female or gay, and I'm assuming you don't go to clubs. The music is not for you.
First of all, how does he know you're not gay?
It's weird to be called not gay by somebody else.
Also, yeah, a little bit offensive, no?
Also, that's literally putting people, like stereotyping people.
Yeah.
I know, it's like...
It's like, oh, you're gay, you must like Ice Spice.
Yeah, like what is he really saying there? Yeah.
Look, for people out there, I love music, female-centered music and clubby stuff. I do enjoy a lot.
Ask me about... I can name you 5 female... No, I don't want to say female, actually. Cut that out. I can name you 5 artists who are women right now who are better than Ice Spice off the top of my head right now. If you tell me,
people that deserve more attention, that can actually rap,
who can actually sing, and who actually are talented
That make unique music, not just cut and paste drill music.
Yeah,
I don't hate her. I don't hate her because she's a black woman. I hate her because she's unoriginal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Then Josh came in here to defend his brother here, and
which I don't know why you did that, man.
There was no fucking way I was getting involved with this. I was just eating my popcorn, just watching this shit unfold.
Yeah, this guy named Jason accused you of misogynoir. Which is a new one.
Yeah.
Not just you're racist.
Yeah.
Or not just you're sexist.
Despite
both.
never bringing up her gender or her race at all whatsoever. Because I said the same shit about Jack Harlow. It's boring, unoriginal, copy-paste, industry bullshit.
It's funny how you responded with the one, 1, 2, 3.
Let me lay this out for you.
You had different arguments.
Read my lips.
Yeah.
1.
I think the debate has gone too far when you start getting into lists of it's like they're not going to listen to you at this point.
Yeah, but it's just fun for me to go. Here's all the reasons why I hate you. Number 1, top 10 reasons why I think you suck.
One of the main things was my quote tweet was a guy who just said "Shut up, nerd." To which I replied with a picture of his Avi saying, "Ice Spice isn't gonna fuck you, bro." To which he replied, "Nobody's ever gonna fuck you." So, this guy,
the guy with the
girlfriend, proved him wrong.
NY Grand Prix.
Yeah. Also, we're calling all these people out, and we're telling you to swarm their accounts with hate mail.
Yeah.
Because we want to start some beef here in 2023. We want to start the year off wrong, on the wrong foot with many people gain traction.
We are inciting violence.
Yeah. Exactly.
There was one guy who basically agreed with me.
There were a few people that were,
a man called Mr. Tit Jiggler jumped in, and him and Michael Apple just went at it.
And Tit Jiggler, he's got music, right? So he's a fellow rapper.
Yeah.
So shouts out to him.
They got this whole thing where they were calling each other fruity, and then Michael Apple's like, "Yeah, of course I'm fruity. I'm Michael Apple."
Oh my god! What the fuck is this discourse, bro?
Mr. Tit Jiggler responds with a Neil deGrasse Tyson gif.
Okay, well all right. Well, I'm not fully on this guy's side now, unfortunately.
Eventually, this guy got all into defending his own music and being like, "Look, I don't make music for this. I don't make music for that." I'm like, it's like, okay, man, right. You lost the plot, man. This was just for fun, but it just.
So, did you guys learn anything from this experience,
I learned to double down on my takes.
No,
and say fuck the haters.
All right.
I actually kind of like Ice Spice now, in a weird way.
Come on, bro. Not like this.
No, but here's the thing. I got 171 likes.
Yeah, my takeaway from this is that next time do it on the @SuperFinger Inc. Twitter, and Instagram and TikTok that we have that I'll show.
Yeah,
try to build more traffic. I got almost 400 likes on one tweet that I commented on the new Kendrick shit, and I've with the meme of fucking uncut Adam Sandler uncut gems, like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna come" or some shit like that. And that got a decent amount of traffic.
See, when you go with positivity, you get more likes, but there's less replies.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
So we're definitely learning the game of online branding.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to admit the marketing for SuperFinger is incredible, though.
For real, though, detracting the conversation into, this is all about marketing, marketing, about branding. Oh.
Marketing isn't art. I'm going to say that right now.
Well, it's not that you can't talk about that type of stuff.
I would disagree.
It is an interesting, discussion, but I think it's kind of just it's a pivot. It's a side pivot to, I don't want to say my real opinions. Yeah. I also think that in general, people in the music industry and in life in general are scared to give their opinion if they genuinely don't like something.
Yeah. It's also a matter of you
for political reasons. They just don't want to
That's fair.
And I get that if you're an artist and you don't want to burn bridges with somebody or whatever like that. But there's also such thing as just being a coward.
Yeah.
And just holding back.
Yeah.
For just
saying,
being a pussy.
Yeah. Talking about praising the marketing of something is when you can't actually sincerely praise the art itself, so you have to find something else to praise. If it was good art,
you just say Ice Spice is dope or whatever.
Then you would say that the art was good.
Then again, nobody says the McDonald's burger is great, but it's the
That's true.
It's branding. It's marketing.
I don't know.
You know, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, this is getting too.
We're 23 minutes in just talking about our Twitter beef. So I'm sure that's what you came in to watch.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else.
Yeah, I totally agree with.
Basically,
what you're
just
saying.
fuck the haters.
Like people like being scared to say things that they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is that kind of climate because there's so like it does feel like a society where like we're trying to like what was that term, like toxic positivity or whatever, where it's just like nothing's wrong is going on whatsoever. Yeah. I just focus on positivity when like sometimes you need to focus on negative shit in order to get through it, you know?
But also if somebody is just a hater and just hating for pure
like just
hatred,
troll, that's just like
contrarian taste and shit.
Yeah.
If they're not having fun and laughing with their friends during it, then it is sad and then it is bullshit, you know. Yeah. At the end of the day, we're all having fun here.
Yeah.
And I don't really take any of this shit that seriously, so you know, the joke's on you, Mr. Michael Apple, if you're watching this.
I want an arch nemesis.
He's probably arguing with somebody right now about...
Well, that wasn't the original meaning of the post, so technically your comment's completely irrelevant. The way we communicate on social media is a real problem.
Here's how you communicate on social media, dictated by me, Michael Apple, the CEO of Apple.
Can't wait to put the link to this podcast underneath it and get like
facts
10 views.
Yeah.
All right, Miles. Don't know his last name.
Talesboro.
Yeah. Lil Yachty put out a new album. We've talked about Yachty a handful of times on the podcast.
Most of for
many
me
different
negative.
episodes.
Yeah, most totally for me is negative.
Yes. But also from us, it's usually just been like singles or features. Or we talked about like the Detroit Boy, whatever, the Michigan Boat Boy album a little bit.
Yeah.
We didn't review or really talk about Little Boat 3 at all, which was like his last like more substantial project. So we can talk a little. We're going to talk about this new album. Let's start here. But instead, let's start back in the day. Just a little bit of context. Alex, where did you first get into Lil Yachty, real quick?
One night.
Lil Boat. I mean, that's like the one that
2016, his first major.
Yeah, that year was crazy for Yachty.
Yeah, he sort of became like a bit of a critical darling of like the more Fantano-y side of the internet a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a rapper.
A little bit of a contrarian take, because he was also seen as like the face of mumble crap, you know, like a lot of these fucking old heads that were giving it to the other side of it. But
I think when people talk about the SoundCloud era, they usually focus on XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD, but Lil Yachty
or whatever. He was
extremely influential and beloved in this in the rap game, and for good reason. Like, I think he's genuinely a fucking really creative.
Yeah. And obviously
really
not everything is great. Like Teenage Emotions album is not very good. And he's had some other works that aren't that great.
I'll argue with that one though, because that album is kind of a classic to me.
It has some great songs, but like I don't remember much from the back half at all. Like,
yeah, you're right. There's a lot of like blah tracks on it.
But also like this kind of almost Teenage Emotions might even be a precursor to this album, because he was trying a bunch of different kind of ideas on that album. Where then afterwards with Little Boat 2 and shit. And Little Boat 3 even, like, he was putting out more of the trap stuff that he, like, the Migos kind of esque stuff that him and QC, people on QC were dropping at the time. I first heard Yachty on the mixtape song from Chance, I think. That was the first time.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That
was
probably was the first time.
And then I was like, this is actually pretty hard. Like, that was to the point where I was like, I wasn't fucking with any of the SoundCloud guys. And then I heard that one, and I'm like, this is pretty sick. And then, or that feature. And then I heard, probably One Night, and then I went from there. And he was a main inspiration for the Charlie Sheen song. When I was writing Charlie Sheen, I listened to a bunch of Lil Yachty for a bit, and then I just wrote my first meme rap song. So, shouts to that.
I mean, yeah, Lil Boat is a classic album.
It's still fantastic. I love pretty much every song on it.
This was still, like, 2016 era, this was, like, not everything had been done yet already, you know?
Yeah.
So it was, like, it was a young world.
Yeah, or where trap was like there were different avenues that had yet to be paved, and like this was almost like Little Boat 1 was almost seen as like people were calling it like bubblegum trap or some shit, you know, like just because it was like bright and positive and it wasn't about guns and shit like that and drugs, but it still had the trap drums and the beats that accompanied that sound.
But that's not to say his music is clean or
no, not at all.
Not related to that.
You know, the further his career got, the more he talked about the guns and the drugs and that kind of shit. I guess because he was, I'm chalking up to he was surrounded by Migos and kind of and those kind of people. Well, he was
signed to the QC label,
so he kind of got more into that world. And the more he got into the rap game, the more he saw all that kind of shit.
But it's interesting how now in this modern day, the trap wave that came in the mid-2010s era is fragmented into a million pieces.
And now we're kind of don't really have an era we're in right now. We don't really have a trap necessarily. Drill, like I guess drill would be a big one.
But now we're in kind of
hyperpop is also
we're in kind of overproduced drill territory at this point, where it's like kind of indistinguishable. Like every song kind of sounds the same.
Yeah. I think we're reaching the limits of what people could do creatively with that shit, but different topic.
But Lil Yachty was like literally fucking steering the boat a little bit.
Yeah.
Pun intended. In one kind of area of the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he just kind of has more of a silliness and a sense of humor and a sense of fun.
Yeah, it was infectious.
He's kind of like that kid in your class who's like a little bit slow, but everyone loves
Everyone's
him.
Like, oh man, yeah, gotta love Bo, yeah.
But that's kind of how we were introduced to him, but as he's matured, his music has gotten like a lot better.
Yeah, you can make that argument. Like Little Boat 1 is still great. 2 is great. I think 3 is a bit underrated.
I think he was putting out a little bit too much music at one point in his career, around 2017, 18, like.
Yeah. With Teenage Emotions and
like
some other shit.
I think Little Boat 2 and Nothing to Prove have good songs on them.
I think Little Boat 2 was really good. Nothing to Prove, I mean, this is the hat that I'm wearing right now, but I don't go back to much from that album. Or it's not as solid as I thought it once was.
But you know what I'm saying about, like, it was just a big volume of music that he was putting out at the time.
And then he's been pretty quiet for the past, like, year or so. Other than the Poland song, which was a huge thing, and people kind of thought that's the next. That's what he's always kind of been an innovator in a sense, kind of creating new sounds. People thought this was the direction he would go in for the new album, and it wasn't at all. There's Poland vibes, some Poland moments almost with the vocal inflections on the new album, but apparently I was listening to an interview of him, and he apparently he didn't expect that song to pop off at all. It was a Lucy thing. And he has like a whole album full of that shit, but that wasn't the vibe. Like he seems to be, again, a really creative guy, really hardworking guy, is always working. But Josh, you're the one that is always saying that you're like Little Yachty's like trash.
I don't want to say he's trash because that's like I said, subjective, you know. Yeah. But at the same time, like, not to completely backpedal on my Ice Spice take, but yeah, like I find his voice too annoying. Yeah. It's too nasally for me.
That's a take that I've seen.
Ironically, coming from me, who considers my voice incredibly annoying. But that's everybody for their voice, I think. But
to an extent, yeah.
Yeah, I just can never get into his because, like, I don't know, it's just too nothing to me. Like, there's no real substance to it. I'm generally a person who likes to take their music kind of seriously.
Yeah, like lyrically wise, like he's never been on the same level as but he's not. I don't compare him to Lupe Fiasco or whatever.
I feel like the substance argument is a little bit like, what is it? What do you mean really by substance?
Because I think there's plenty of substance on most Yachty albums because there's a lot of different sounds. There's a lot of different moments that I like.
I don't know.
But at the end of the day, like I think it is kind of all hinged on you liking his personality and his sense of humor and stuff like that. And if it doesn't hit with you, then all that other stuff doesn't really matter. Yeah. Like all these other details of the music that we noticed because we've fans.
Talked about that on one of the first podcasts that we did of like artists that you don't like personally because of like you just can't get into or whatever. And we talked about like how I can't get into Danny Brown as much as I recognize his talent and I respect him.
Yeah.
Like I just like something like the voice or something or like a beat production or whatever of someone is so like important for getting into an artist where it's just like if you can't get into the one thing, it's just there's no point.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. Like I guess I could just chop it up to his voice.
Well, you don't have to like, everyone, right? But also, I wanted you to listen to this album, this new one, because I think it would be maybe not right up your alley, because people are comparing to like Pink Floyd and shit like that. I'm like, that's not entirely, maybe like a couple songs, but like it's more of a Tame Impala type of thing to me.
When people get into the Tame Impala stuff, I'm like, I know nothing about psychedelic rock as a genre. I never really listened to Tame Impala.
Right.
Like, this genre is like completely new to me. Like,
right.
And I know I have some roots in like knowing some of the like Pink Floyd type shit and Led Zeppelin.
Some of the more prog rock or whatever stuff.
But that's part of why this was kind of an interesting album to talk about, because like usually this is the Rapcast, and we're talking about, like, we were writing our bio the other day and we were thinking, okay, it's rap, but we also talk about like adjacent genres and stuff like that. But this is more the case of a rap
album
doing a different genre.
Yeah.
Entirely, but we still want to talk about it because it's like it's relevant to what's going on in hip hop right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's coming from a rapper, which is, I think, something that we should embrace as a culture almost of rappers trying to do, experimenting and doing different things. Like Mac, towards the end of his life, was doing like Circles was almost like a folk singer-songwriter album, and it's fantastic. Like. So I urge hip-hop artists to like try different things and really, go out, get out of their comfort zone and experiment. And I think Yachty did it here, and I think it's a great success. I'm really enjoying it.
So initial thoughts on, do we have any other thoughts on Lil Yachty's career pre this album?
I'm cool to get into the project.
Yeah.
Just know that we've been little Yachty fans, me and Alex, for a while.
So like my initial thoughts were like, I thought this is like, there's like some crazy ideas and some like moments that were very interesting, but like I thought it was a little bit booty at first.
Really?
Just the singing and
that's the one thing I can see from people is
everything
like,
kind of blends into one, but that I started to realize that that's more of a strength of the album at some point, is that it's one piece of music, and the songs kind of go and they go in all these different directions, and it's kind of almost hard to review because like it's hard to place even like when that moment even happens.
I'm still, that's the thing. It's like, if I'm starting off with negatives or whatever, like I see a lot of people being like, love the production, love what he's going for here, but his singing just isn't it. And I'm like, there are times on here where I agree that I'm like, this singing, if this was like Childish Gambino doing this shit, it could have been a lot better. But again, I have to come to the point where it's just like, he's not doing this.
It is what it is, though.
It is what it is, and for what it is, though.
But again, the point is, that was my first impression, and the more I listened to it, like, I kind of let go of that opinion. But there's still certain songs that I kind of would skip past, for sure.
Right. And to the point of like it's a whole body of music, like there's still, I've listened to it like a whole lot the past few weeks, but there's still some times where I'm like, okay, what's this song again? Which one is this one? Like, just because, like, another negative of this album may be like some of it is a little bit samey in terms of some of the production. Like, while I think the production is fantastic, like some of it is a little bit like, okay, this is another kind of Tame Impala kind of a song. Okay, this is another kind of smooth one here. This is another, But like you said, like there's moments on pretty much all of these tracks that I'm like, okay, this is a really cool idea. And there's some songs that I absolutely love.
For sure. It was weird to see like the drop of like the rollout for it, and kind of like how he was just saying like, I really just want to be taken seriously as an artist. Like,
and I feel for him. I'm like,
I love Yachty's vulnerability in that sense. Like, and even in his the one skit on it, Failure.
Right.
Where he's just basically telling a whole story. Like, I love his whole approach to vulnerability and just talking about things.
I'll disagree with the Failure interlude just because, like, to me, like, I get what he's saying and I like what he's saying, and I'm like, yes, I agree with his stance on failure and success and stuff. But to me, like, it sounds like scripted, or it sounds like it doesn't sound natural to me, to the point where I'm just like, I don't know if I even believe him to an extent. I don't know. Maybe it's a nitpick, but and also it's like a 3-minute interlude. It
sounded like it was just him talking for real, but it was a little bit produced sounding, I guess. But
it's one that I'm not going to go back too much, just because once you hear it once, you don't have to really hear it again necessarily. But I guess in terms of the themes of the album and where he is at this point in his career, it makes sense.
I think the album starts off strong and gets you into the vibe.
Yeah,
and like that that skit kind of gives
it's an important moment to like, you know,
it gives you a little bit of a break after after like the first couple songs and like getting used to this yachty psychedelic rock aspect.
So you want to start with Black Seminole? Very starts off with a 7-minute fucking like right away. He's just throwing it. He's giving it to you right away.
Yeah, no, I like Black Seminole a lot,
and it doesn't get boring either. Like the production is fantastic. This is like the most Pink Floyd type of fucking like rock song on here to me. I love the guitars on here, and to me his vocals on here are good. They don't like really detract.
No, I like
for me.
And the kind of setting up like the character that he's embodying in this a little bit to a degree. Like, I don't exactly know what's meant by like that I'm a Black Seminole or whatever.
Right, yeah, I didn't really do much digging lyrically on this album, but it's more so about vibes and shit to me. More,
the feeling is communicated.
Super trippy.
I'd say the first track that I really liked off of it was Running Out of Time. The ride was a little bit...
Yeah, the ride was a little rough. I'm not a big Tizo guy. I don't think they had great chemistry. Vocals could have been a bit better. Beats a little bit jarring.
It's weird how it's not just yachty. Like the whole rap game, there's a lot of experimentation with rock and punk.
It's been going like that for a while now.
It's been like that for a while, and it's starting to mature a little bit.
Yeah, but
there are still some times when it sounds like this is a first attempt at a rapper trying to go rock. You know what I mean?
And there are like this
that one sounds a little sophomoric to me, but I like it gives you the feeling that you want, but like I don't.
Yeah, it's really a nice vibe, but it's also like it's not one of my favorite songs. It's one of my least favorite like song. Like Failure is probably my least favorite thing on here, but like this one's one of my least favorite like songs on here.
I just remembered. Sorry to interrupt, but a good overall statement to this is that a buddy of mine from college, who is a huge prog rock guy. His favorite band is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yeah.
And he loves like the psychedelic shit. He was going off about Lil Yachty album
in a positive way,
in a positive way.
Oh, okay.
In a positive
That's interesting
way.
because
he was saying he was really
because I was seeing some kind of gatekeeping takes on Twitter.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, if you're a real fan of this, then you should hate this.
That's what I wanted to discuss. Is because like. Because I don't really listen to this type of I know Tame Impala and that kind of music and stuff, but I don't really listen to it. So to me, like I might have a bias because like maybe this isn't that good in context of the rest of the genre. So I'm like considering my opinion of like, well, is it that like if I were to really expand my horizons musically, would I still think it's that good? And is it just good from a rapper's point of view because we're not used to this kind of shit? So I've been kind of battling with that kind of a little. It's something to consider for sure when you review something like this.
Well, another addendum to that is I saw like reactions on Twitter of like Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers being like, "Yo, everybody check this out!
Right on,
it's dope." And I understand why he would do it because there's like some really funky bass lines and shit.
Yeah, and he went on tour with Red Hot Chili Peppers went on tour with Thundercat, I think, recently, and I think another like kind of almost a rapper.
Yeah. Flea is like he's locked in.
I trust Flea's opinion.
He's awesome. Honestly, not that crazy about Red Hot Chili Peppers, but
they got undeniable.
You got to admit they're nice guys in general. Although I don't really trust. I don't really trust.
I wouldn't want to be alone in a room with Anthony Kiedis.
No, he's definitely seen some things. But no, he's a good guy. I like them.
Yeah, Running Out of Time. Yeah, I agree. Very funky, very groovy. Again, I fuck with Yachty's inflections, his vocals here.
Well, with that one, like, I like it because it's like smooth and simple, and like I know what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of these songs are like. Are simple, it's like short, sweet, like lyrically there isn't like that much to go like genius wise, like it's not that long of a page or whatever, but they just let the song kind of they do the melodies, they do the instruments, and it's good, and it's a vibe, right?
But I find that on some of the songs it's too complicated musically that like I don't know where to put I can't really place it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this one, Running Out of Time, like hearing the first 30 seconds of it as I was already basically coming up with a whole dance routine for it.
No, it's this one's the highlight for sure. A star beside it. What's your thought on the next song, Pretty?
It's dope.
With Fouché. I love it too. People were being this was like a divisive one. Just because it isn't like he's doing the Poland it's a pretty good attempt at it. I love it. I'm a sucker for Fouché, and I love that she's on this album, and I gotta get some flowers or something. Valentine's Day flowers.
We should profess our love for Fouché at the end of this. Fouché, will you marry the three white guys?
Because she's been working on the Yachty album, Steve Lacy, and she's like looking to have a very promising career. I was kind of promoting her from since like 2020 or something like that. So just
you were an early adapter.
I want people to make sure that they know that.
I was thinking that Fouché is kind of like what we all thought FKA Twigs was going to be in the rap game.
Yeah. But FKA Twigs is way more experimental now, like, in terms of...
She's a little bit more off in her own zone and, like, comes into the rap scene sometimes, but, like, it's not really the same thing where, like, Fouché, like, she's in, like, LA or whatever, like...
Yeah.
With all these people, and she's in the scene, and she's mixing and, like, has her influence in a lot of different pockets, which is dope to see.
I'll say this one is probably the most also like kind of juvenile lyrically because he's talking about like sucking on her titties or whatever pretty. And like something.
It's simple though,
but it's also where it's like kind of classic Yachty to me, where it's still like if this album didn't have any like personality, Yachty's personality on it, I'd be like, well, this doesn't feel like a Little Yachty album to me. But this album succeeds to me because Little Yachty is trying something really different, but also still somehow sounds like a Little Yachty album. Love the instrumental on this one as well.
It's slightly memey in a way.
Yeah.
Like
I think they knew what they were doing on this one. Like him and Fouché. They're like, yeah.
Like people are gonna make TikTok videos about it and stuff like that.
And I Am So Pretty, that being the chorus, that's a good the marketing on Fouché and Little Yachty is
the marketing.
This album episode is gonna be called The Marketing. Of course.
Well, I was also thinking about how the shaky voice thing is. He could have turned it into a gimmick, you know? But I think he
uses it so sparingly on this album where it's smart about whenever it does hit. Like, if he had a whole album like this, I'd be like, it all sounds the same.
Well, I was thinking that it's kind of similar to the Post Malone warbly voice thing, which he kind of overdid. And
yes. I agree.
By the way, have you seen those videos where it's like Post Malone performing and people are like...
thinking he's on drugs or
whatever?
Fans
are upset because like he's really skinny and he's like...
I think he's just fucking drinking.
Going crazy on stage.
Wasn't it the same performance where he fucking did a shoey? He drank a fucking beer out of some guy's shoe. I think he's just fucking living his life, man. I don't know.
That video kind of reminded me why I generally don't like... I like Post Malone, but like I'm gonna keep my distance because like I feel like there's something tragic might happen.
Yeah, like, it's a lot of his music is sad as fuck. So yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit during his reviewing his last
I also
album,
just like... When a guy is known to be like a chubby kind of dude and he gets like overly skinny, like kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, I could say, yeah. I know there's something to be said. I haven't actually seen how skinny
By the way, I watched the Jonah Hill movie.
Fucking my girlfriend was texting me while watching that. I'm like, you can watch that yourself.
He has gone full LA douche. Yeah. And he doesn't even know he's playing a character. He doesn't know who he is anymore. Like he's...
That's why I saw the trailer. I'm like, there's no goddamn way I'm watching. Like Julie Louis-Dreyfus, even so. Like Eddie Murphy, even so.
If you look at like the cast of Superbad, like Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, and Michael Cera, like they all kind of went Hollywood, but Michael Cera stayed normal. Seth Rogen is kind of weird,
Michael
but like...
Cera actually an asshole in real life? That's the whole, like, this is the end joke, is that he's actually an asshole.
Well, I assume that after being bullied by the internet for, like, years, you would be kind of jaded, you know what I mean?
Is Michael Cera bullied by the internet?
Just the memes and shit, I don't know.
I thought he was beloved by the...
I mean, I think no one hates Michael Cera, but, like...
The point is, like, Seth Rogen also became very Hollywood, but... He's still likable. Like to an extent, I would still like. I don't hate him, but Jonah Hill has really made him an enemy of himself. Like
I don't like Jonah Hill anymore, unfortunately.
Anyway, back to the point.
Yeah, failure we talked about.
Another thing is like I wanted to mention minor point of contention, like the censoring himself of the swear words and stuff is a bit much. Maybe I only have a censored version of the song or something.
Yeah, there's no censoring on the one I've been listening to. I know Spotify is bad with that sometimes, where they give you the censored version for like they promote that before the fucking thing.
Okay, well that's really fucking stupid. Fuck Spotify for that, because like
Apple Music tries to do the same thing too, but I've learned
Spotify for a lot of shit.
Yeah, fuck all the streaming platforms.
Even though we're trying to get
gonna be on there.
Yeah,
check out our Spotify, by the way.
Fuck Spotify. We're gonna check ours.
Fuck you, but I'll sign a deal.
Yeah. Fuck you, I'll pay you.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that's an odd choice, but it wasn't him.
No censoring,
it was the stupid fucking whatever.
Good thing there's not a lot of cursing in this, I guess, or else it would have really ruined the experience for you. The Zone, I like this one too. It's not one of my favorites, but it's another kind of spacey song. It's smooth. I like Justine Skye's contribution. They're back and forth and stuff. I think it's a solid one.
Yeah, I didn't really vibe with that song as much.
It's not as memorable.
Or the one after We Saw the Sun.
I love the guitar on this one. I love this transition between the transitions on this. Another kind of addendum to what you were saying about how it works best as an album listening experience all the way through is because the transitions on a lot of these songs are immaculate.
Yeah, I mean that's what he even said in his Twitter. Like, by the way, listen to this in the order. There's like a Bob Ross segment at the end.
I like that Bob Ross. It probably didn't need to be a 6-minute song, like for sure. But I like the Bob Ross inclusion. I like the
Me too.
Drug kind of like he's in the interview I watched as well. He's also been experimenting with acid and fucking DMT apparently or some shit, and he's been sipping lean for a little bit.
Thinking about Lil Yachty in the DMT world, and he's talking to like fucking God.
Yeah, but it shows for sure, like on this album. But a lot of drug talk on this song specifically. Again, just another vibe. Like again, like musically, it isn't that polished. Some of the singing isn't that great. Maybe it's not too unique, but like for a vibe though, for putting it on, like I have no complaints, like for the most part, just because I like listening to the music.
Sidebar, Bob Ross really became like a cultural thing, like
memed to
like
death.
Way after. Like I don't remember ever watching that show.
No, I only watch it now because there's a station on Roku that's just always Bob Ross, and it's nice to fall asleep to sometimes because it's fucking super quiet and soothing. But
because I noticed like people were like
on Euphoria,
dressing up,
on
like
Halloween,
but
all
like,
the memes and shit.
How does that make sense? Like these people weren't alive for Bob Ross being on TV. That was in like the 70s.
I don't know how it came about. Same thing with Rick Astley, fucking shit. Like I don't know how these things actually organically.
Random, I assume.
Well, with Rick Astley, like that was at least relevant to people who grew up in the 80s who were like at the time.
I mean, was Bob Ross like big back in the day? Is the question. Like I don't even or do our parents know who Bob Ross is?
No, my parents know who they are. I think. I don't know. But it's probably Family Guy made a joke about it, and then that's how the millennials know about it.
That's how it always is. Next track, Drive Me Crazy. This is probably one of my favorites on here.
Early favorite for me too.
Diana Gordon's all over this album as well.
So I don't know who that is,
me neither.
But she did.
She kills it. I love their back and forth. I love their chemistry on the chorus. I wish the chorus was done more. It was just done the one time. But it's a great bouncy track.
That's one you can dance to right there.
Yeah, summery track. I love the violin. There's violin inclusions on there, which I love.
They break it down, and there's like synthesizers.
And Yachty has more of like a rap kind of verse, like his third verse, which is like a nice, because there's a few kind of like more so like, okay, he's kind of trying to rap here a little bit, which is cool. Just to kind of not be completely,
So we can talk about this on the Rapcast, okay? For those at home.
And I think, because this album leaked late December last year. It was very, like, mixing was very rough, and it didn't, so I didn't bother listening to it, because apparently it didn't actually sound that good. But people kind of knew this was coming, and in that leak was also, like, not the whole album, but, like, his plan was to drop this album first quarter of this year, and then soon after drop, like, a fucking another, like, proper rap fucking Concrete Boys album. So it's not like he's done with rapping and he's just doing this. But it's a great notch in his fucking belt to have this, and hopefully he experiments, because I think this could be done better too. Like I love this, but it's to be improved on for sure. At the same time, I think there could be a huge potential here. But
what's the next trend? Like
that's what
after going
that's the question.
Going from a rapper to psychedelic rock, like
that's the age old question.
Gonna put out
trying to get on,
It's gonna work with Kendrick or something. I don't know.
Everybody's trying to predict the next new thing all the time.
I'm trying to think of a very random genre of music, but none of them are really coming funny in my head. Like what's next?
Fucking polka.
A Lil Yachty polka remix.
Ska.
Yeah, ska should be the new
dude.
Wave. I love ska.
Shout out, friend of the show. What's your buddy's ska band's name again?
The Checkerboards.
Yes, go check them out in Hamilton. I'll be there, freaking skanking.
I was at one of those shows. I tried skanking. I couldn't do it. I don't know how to do it.
I think we're just.
I was trying, and I'm like, no, but white people love skanking. I don't know. We're getting off topic once again. I've officially lost the vision. What do you think about this one?
The performance is something to behold, I'll say, but it don't really sound that great to me. But eventually,
it's a little sporadic. But I love the climax and the build up.
Yeah, it gets somewhere, but like.
I don't get the intro and the outro.
It's kind of rough. It's a little bit rough.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be as long maybe as it is, but this one's like a straight up like rock. Like it has like the driving punk guitars and drums, which are like okay, this is fucking hard as shit.
It's a little bit more intense kind of sound to it, but
to me, I like Yachty's vocals on here. Again, kind of almost kind of a rap verse. I love Diana Gordon's like very haunting. Like it kind of beat breaks down into a minimalist piano thing, and then it builds back up again. And a lot of her lyrics are very good on that one.
The detail, like the musical detail and complexity on this thing is fucking crazy when you think about it.
Yeah. Like when I'm sitting there high out of my mind listening to this fucking album, I'm just like, there's just so much, there's a lot of noise and shit happening, but
it's crazy to think about Lil Yachty like working on every single little 5 seconds of it.
Well, he apparently got a lot of help from like the Tame Impala people, Alex G, who's apparently in the scene, I don't fucking know, Mac DeMarco is involved.
That's one of my favorite things about music in general, is like all the little details that you don't pick up on the until like the 5th listen or whatever. It's like, oh shit, I didn't even hear that little noise until just now or whatever.
And
it creates an overall atmosphere.
And I still think that you might not like this album because again vocally like it's maybe not as polished as you might want it to be, but I think instrumentally I think you should at least once over just because you might get something out of it.
I was actually going to ask you to play that on the way to Hamilton yesterday.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, but I forgot to do that.
Yeah. Like obviously you're not gonna like every song on here. I don't think you'll like Pretty much, but there's some moments. I think this one, Black Seminole, and the outro, I think you would really like. Okay. But yeah, going from there, got a few more songs left.
I would say that like by the time you get to the song "Paint the Sky," that's where I started to get a little bit annoyed.
Really?
You know?
Okay. Well,
because like I felt like I'd been through too much. You know, like I was like like.
It's not even that long of an album, though.
More of this like high voice.
It's like an hour, but
singing. I just felt like exhausted at that point. But then it
is a lot. There's a lot of content.
I like the last track, but like I find that like I didn't really like The Alchemist. It was just
The Alchemist and Should I Be are like my 2 favorite songs.
I just couldn't really deal with it anymore. Like it was kind of too much at that point.
I can't even. You're wrong. No, I understand. No, it is like there are a lot of like long songs on here, and again, like I said earlier, it is like
at the end of the day, this isn't really my genre. It's not really my genre. You know what I mean? I don't know. At that point, I was like maybe I gotta like I still could listen to it a couple more times.
Yeah, because I've listened to this album like probably 5 or 6 times. Like it's almost all I've been listening to.
Yeah. At some point, like, the bit kind of got a little bit tired on me, like, you know what I mean?
Right. I can understand maybe not liking Say Something as much. Paint the Sky isn't one of my favorites either. Should I Be, like, that one is fantastic to me. I love the fast-paced shit on there, the guitar work. The whole thing is catchy as fuck. The Alchemist with Fouché, I love that one too. I love that. It's like, again, more fast-paced, fucking almost rapping kind of shit. And Reach the Sunshine with Daniel Caesar, his vocal performance is fantastic on that.
I like the ending
is
track.
Fantastic
I like what they went with the ending there.
Yeah, serves as a really good outro. Somber, but also crazy.
Daniel Caesar was somebody I was not expecting to hear on this album.
Or to even ever collab with Yachty in any...
It's a big surprise. But I'm happy to see that for sure. Right. For sure.
So overall, you're a little bit just lukewarm on it just because you chalk it up to not...
I'm slightly lukewarm on it. I'm giving it room to grow in my mind right now, but it's more sitting at more of a 7 out of 10 or ish area.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving it an 8 because I'm agreeing that it's not perfect and there's some rough parts here, but like I can't stop playing it and I love the sound.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've been listening to like podcasts lately and just doing other things, and I haven't been as plugged into the music lately.
Well, there hasn't been much really coming out.
I've been kind of just chilling a bit and focusing on other things. Yeah. So I'm not always going to give it the the most work for these reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But overall, like, this was a good thing for Lil Yachty's career,
and you gotta give him kudos just for doing it
and
for
the
trying
scene in
new.
general,
and for it coming out generally being like a well-made, well-rounded body of work. Like rough around the edges a little bit, but like it's surprising. Like for a Yachty hater, if someone was a Yachty hater, like you could admit that it's technically sound album. It's at least a solid attempt at this.
As the local Yachty hater, I will be the judge of that.
That's true. Yeah, if next podcast, if you end up listening to it, we can do a little quick.
I feel like you're gonna have to put a gun to my head.
Quick segment,
basically, because I'm gonna keep not.
Well, if we drive somewhere that's like a long drive or whatever, then
yeah. How long is it? An hour?
57 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still laughing at how much you completely couldn't accept my opinion on those last couple songs.
Because those are, like, I have stars beside, like, all of those fucking songs, except for Paint the Sky. Because that one, I will say, as much as it's fuck Fantana,
I want to just agree with you. I want to just love stuff with you, but, like, I know it's Valentine's Day.
That's part of the podcast, though, is that we don't always see eye to eye, and that's fine. But it's fuck Fantano, but I did watch his review of this because I was curious because he's generally enjoyed Lil Yachty's music, at least from what I could tell. But he pointed out that the Paint the Sky, his whole dun 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 dun, it's the same exact flow as Late Night Talking by fucking
Late Night
Talking.
What is that? What is that?
It's like a Shawn Mendes song or some shit like that. That I've heard a few times on the radio or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I can see that, but like, I'm never gonna.
My
listen to that song.
one note is it could have used more Shawn Mendes.
Okay, that's I'll take that into consideration. Like
you'll take that into consideration, like you made it.
I think, lyrically it isn't, like, that crazy or anything, and it definitely does sound like it's someone's first time, like, taking acid and making an album to an extent a lot of the time, but, like, also I think it's super impressive, and
it's professionally done, you know? It's not... If this was, like, SoundCloud level production and stuff, I would probably
mixing and shit,
like,
it would be terrible,
booty.
But the fact that he really gave it his all is what makes it really, really great.
One of the interesting discourse things I found was... people kind of saying afterwards about it, like, why do people always have to disrespect the art of rap by saying that, like, oh, you know...
I'm trying to be seen as a real artist or whatever?
Like, rapping isn't an art form now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like sometimes people are sometimes slightly prejudiced about that. But just because, like, sometimes the genre of rap can get very... unartistic or something
watered
like that.
down and completely
it's possible for that to happen, but like I feel like people have a lot of biases around that type of stuff, and the idea that like every rapper is like trying to find something other than hip hop because they don't want to be in this box or whatever, but I understand how there's a lot of like expectations that people have that go way too far, and
for an artist like Yachty, like I get it because like for again, like I said earlier, like he was the poster child for like SoundCloud rap, for like mumble rap kind of thing, even though he never really did much of the mumble rap in my mind. So I understand, like, you know, maybe some of his peers not giving him maybe the respect that he deserves or whatever, but like for fans of Yachty's, like we are, like I think we've always kind of, and we've said it on this podcast before, like he's always been creative, he's been very versatile artist.
Yeah.
So I think like I don't know where he's exactly seeking this respect from, which is the thing. Like, obviously he gets a ton of hate online for sure, like, you know, like most rappers do, and like he kind of is divisive with a lot of the stuff that he does. But like, at least like personality wise, people are always like, yeah, he seems like a cool guy, and you know they respect him at the very least, right? So I don't know.
If you go back to the classic clip of him on Everyday Struggle and Joe Budden giving him such a fucking hard time when he's just a kid having fun.
Yeah.
And it's like
I think at that point he was probably like 19. He was, you know,
that was like a internet moment that kind of crystallized the whole thing of like, just the music should just be about fun and vibes and like Yachty's sense of vulnerability that is like unparalleled in this scene.
Yeah. Especially for like type of rapper that he is, like a trap rapper, but he's also super.
And Joe Budden being the exact opposite of like the quintessential old head hater, bandwagon, jumps on anything, you know, jumps down people's throat. I mean, he was very angry at the time, and now now that he's rich, he doesn't get mad at people anymore. But
I mean, I don't keep up with the podcast. He could still very well be yelling at people.
You know what? Maybe he is, but like, you don't see that in the culture as much anymore. But
I remember when we saw Yachty in 2017, I want to say, and someone passed down from the rafters a Fuck Joe Budden shirt, and he like wore it and shit. And I'm like, that's great. That was probably right around that time. So, respects to Yachty, shouts to Yachty. We've said it, we'll say it again. To me, I really love it. Maybe it'll warm up to Alex. We'll see how things shake out at the end of the year. But out of the 2 albums that I listened to this year so far, it's my number 1 album.
Wow.
So.
I had one more thought just on that whole...
Because it's a podcast, it is now crystallized for all time and eternity.
Well, it's definitely better than Trippie Redd's album, which is the only other album I listened to this year. So anyway, you're about to say, wrap up some thoughts.
Just about the whole, like, it's not enough to just be a rapper. Right. It's hip-hop is... But I think more, like, another aspect to it is just that rapping is just rapping, that's all it is, but it always kind of borrows stuff from other genres to give it more life, you know?
Yeah.
Or else it's just a beat and
it's just a
verse, you know?
Yeah, it's just a metronome and doing fast poetry.
I think
or whatever,
maybe
right?
that's kind of like, you need to draw some inspiration, or else you can get really stagnant and you're just, another 808 drum and another whatever.
Yeah, I can definitely see him being like, and getting sick and tired of it in that sense. But also, like, rap is, like, the biggest genre in, like, the whole world.
I know, that's
so
why
it's like,
this is such
of course they're artists. Like, there's no argument there. At least to me, maybe because I'm so infused with the culture and I've been loving it for almost 10 years now, that maybe it's a little bit biased, but, like, why would you be trying to get the respect of country fans, Grammy fucking bored people anyway? Who gives a shit? Like, but I don't know. We're not in Lil Yachty's shoes, so who's to say?
It's an interesting question of, like, who is he trying to impress, or who is he trying to
gain the respect,
prove himself for?
Yeah.
Ultimately, we can't really know. The music scene has a lot of different elements going on in it, and I don't. Maybe he's trying to get Rick Rubin to come down. And,
I wouldn't be surprised if him and Rick Rubin have already talked. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. Oh, transition to Anthony Fantano. I don't watch the guy's videos anymore, but I did see a thumbnail where he was basically just saying Rick Rubin is just DJ Khaled. Like, he doesn't
a fucking lie.
He doesn't really do anything. He just shows up and
that's a fucking. That's.
But I didn't actually watch the video, and I don't. But like, what's your?
I mean, I didn't watch the video either. Like, I'm still subscribed to him, but I only watch the albums that I'm actually interested to hear his opinion on.
I think Rick Rubin himself has admitted that he doesn't actually do anything.
Well, yeah, there was a recent thing on like 60 Minutes or whatever. He was like, some guy was asking him like, "Do you do this?" He's like, "No." "Do you produce?" "No." Are you behind the boards?" "No." But the fact is that he's almost an executive producer,
guru, like shows up.
Because also he pretty much founded like Beastie Boys, right? And he like started a label. Like there was a label that he was. Hip Hop Evolution taught me at one point, but it's been so far removed for me. But he has like some actual stake in the rap game to an extent. But it's more so like nowadays he's pretty much just seen as like a guru where he
wasn't the 99 Problems song like a big like he was involved with that in some way?
He was involved with a lot of great late 90s, early 2000s hip hop music.
I feel like the DJ Khaled comparison is like way off.
I think to me, because he just has an ear for what is... for what's great, and that's I think on that same interview, 60-minute interview that he did, he said he just knows what sounds good, has a specific ear that just knows what's right or whatever. Right. And comparing it to DJ Khaled is like DJ Khaled is just in it for in and the streams. They're completely different.
DJ Khaled is a fucking parasite, and I hate his guts so much.
Okay. Hot take, maybe? Lukewarm take?
He had some hits, though.
No, there's DJ Khaled hits that are songs that I do genuinely love, but it's not never because of DJ Khaled.
He had nothing to do with
never because of DJ Khaled. Yeah. And maybe he does give good advice. Maybe he does do more behind the scenes that we know, but like comparing him to Rick Rubin is just, to me, they're in two completely different worlds musically to me. But they're both I guess they both are kind of just executive producers more so than anything.
But the funny thing about this Anthony Fantano discussion, which I don't know, well, like, why do we even just talk about reviewers? But there is a transition here, if you want to get into it.
Yeah, well, we'll get into new music right, because there are a bunch of singles that did drop. Bobby Boy himself, Logic, he's been on YouTube more. He's been doing more like kind of meme YouTube videos, and I think most of them are like pretty cringe. I haven't watched all of them. I think they're just kind of just trying too hard. He's trying to be funny, but he's not really that kind of guy. A lot of his meme trends seem to be kind of from 5 years ago, or but he put out this video where he reviewed Anthony Fantano's review of The Big Day for some reason, not even like his own music, to give context. It was just kind of him like hating on him, but also giving him love in the next breath, and then hating on him again. And he reaffirms that point that we talked about when we reviewed Vinyl Days last year, where on the one song that we both hated, and it was one of your worst songs of the year, La Donda, where he pretty much is like, I wanted to kill you, and then we had one phone call, and it changed my whole perspective and shit, and how we were saying how it was so, like...
pathetic to try to...
Yeah, or just, like
like, why does he want the acceptance of some reviewer so badly? Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
and the fact that he's doing this now, and then he claims that they're friends, but it almost seems like a one-sided thing, because from the Fantana review that I did watch of Vinyl Days, he took offense to that shit of, like, you wanted to kill me? Like, he seemed like, you know, and Fantano kind of reaffirmed that, like, they're not really even friends like that, they're just kind of acquaintances, and they kind of know each other a little bit, right? And now Logic does this thing, which is like, maybe he had Fantano's blessing for it, or maybe this is all a slight to him, or maybe it's, I don't know, like, what the fuck is the point of this video? And because I watched the whole thing, and I'm just like, I need to talk about this, or else I'm gonna go fucking insane, just because it's super cringe, and it's like, it's pathetic as fuck.
You know, who's out there reviewing the reviewers?
I know.
You know? Has anyone ever thought about doing that?
Like, it's so...
Whoa, what if all the mean things they said about artists, we just said it back to them and said, oh, I don't know, man.
Or just grow a fucking...
Can't people just be normal now?
And like, he's been in the game for like 10 plus years. Like, you figure by now he developed some tougher skin. Like, you know, he said before, you know, he's been suicidal in terms of, like, some of the hate that he gets online or whatever, but, like, and he keeps claiming that he's over it now. But he keeps talking about it, so it's like, well, how over it can you be if half of Vinyl Days is about how you're over all this internet shit and stuff like that, but it still makes up a big chunk of the content. I don't know. And if this is all for a rollout of College Park, then I'm like, what's the fucking... I'm not looking forward to it then. Even though a few songs have dropped now. 3 songs. There's one called Wake Up with Lucy Rose, and that one's actually pretty good. It's reminiscent of some of his earlier shit. There's the one that we watched the video for, like the Clerks guys with Kevin Smith, High Life, fucking weed smoking.
Yo, have you ever smoked weed before?
That's the essence of the whole song, pretty much, because the lyrics are all like,
I'm getting so high, I'm
fly,
feeling so high,
like,
I'm fly up in the sky,
it's dead ass. You're joking, but it's dead ass that lyrically. Like, there's nothing to it. The music video is fucking whatever. I don't care. And there's a new song, Paradise 2, with Norah Jones. So he has 2 Norah Jones collaborations now.
Don't know why I didn't call.
And are you a Norah Jones fan?
I just really like her song "Don't Know Why," which became a huge hit in the 2003.
I enjoy some of her stuff. I haven't heard enough. I feel like I don't.
We've heard the one Billy Joe Armstrong collab,
Norah Jones, which I will stand by that. I think that's a good.
This is an extremely obscure, just inside this room joke between the 3 of us, but we were coming up with a fake email account at one point, and for some reason we decided to call it Norah Jones Cocksucker
69 at hotmail.com.
I don't know why. I think it's because you were listening to the Billy Joe.
That was when you were really into it, I think, and I was like trying to get into my Xbox, and there was a whole thing, and I just had to come up with a new thing, and
if you're listening to this Norah Jones, I'm sorry. We were kids. We were just joking. I'm sure you're a very nice lady.
I haven't actually listened to the new song. It's Paradise 2. Paradise 1 was a song that I really did like on his Tits album, The Incredible True Story. I haven't listened to this album because he's putting out like a single a week or whatever, and the album comes out the end of the month, so I'm just going to wait till the album comes out. But I'm kind of having lukewarm feelings about in terms of it's kind of 50-50 for me at this point in terms of songs that I like.
Man, when you were talking about Logic threatening to kill himself because internet...
I don't know if he was actually ever like suicidal like that, but he's like a... For
some reason that just gave me a flashback to Chester Bennington, you know?
They kind of look this...
R.I.P.
They're both like white and bald-headed.
But like with him...
like Chester Bennington's trauma goes like deeper than internet hate, though.
Like, I know, like it's way bigger than that.
And he's been saying that kind of shit since the start of Linkin Park, like.
But that's the funny thing is like Linkin Park being so popular and just kind of radio music that you would hear, you wouldn't even think about like the emotional depth behind it necessarily, just because I've become so numb.
Yeah, it's so obvious.
You're not even thinking about
happens, but like at the same time,
the emotions behind it. But then when you really think about how damn that guy really did commit suicide, you're like, fuck, we really lost a lot. And if he was still alive, like he would probably be active in the scene and like
because they had the whole Jay-Z album together.
He was like an early adopter of like all this mixture of the worlds of rap.
I'll defend the one fucking album. It was because they were into like kind of the punk rock, new metal kind of shit early on.
What was it called? They
had Hybrid Theory. They had Meteora or some shit like that, which is another great one.
Then the Jay-Z collab album.
The Jay-Z collab was after that, and then they kind of went to the more like kind of pop EDM, not EDM, but like kind of the more pop direction. I didn't like it, and then they had an album like Hunters Lullaby or some shit like that, and it had features from like Rakim and like
at some point
people.
They were just doing like Transformers really movies theme songs, you know. But like they were honestly like I kind of miss Linkin Park low key.
They're tight.
It should have been.
So we do have a handful of new music to get to. Where do you want to start with this? Do you want to do the two TDE powerhouses here from last year?
Yeah, this one. I didn't really have a chance to listen to Ab-Soul too much last year, and it didn't fall into my like consideration for best albums of the year. Herbert.
It was number, I want to say 7 on my list. So check that out.
And I don't even want to be too long-winded about this.
Yeah, I've already talked about most of the shit I wanted to say.
You already talked about it, but it's just a very excellent rap album.
Yeah, all the way through, like, super solid.
This is what I'm talking about with our whole Ice Spice discussion, whatever. Like, this is longevity right here. Like, you can listen to this for years, and like, it's a classic hip hop album. You know what I mean?
I understand in the sounding of it. To me, I love this album. It's too soon to call it a classic, of course, but I understand.
I just think that Ab-Soul is almost a classic artist in that, like,
yeah, he is one of the almost a dinosaur.
You've been telling legends about him for 10 years or whatever, and I was also thinking about how the subject matter on this album is very heavy and deep. Yeah, but it's not a drag to listen to at all.
No, yeah, exactly.
It's actually very
uplifting and motivational, and
there's
still fun. He still has fun.
There's great hooks and musicality to it. It's not. It doesn't beat you over the head with its sadness, which I feel like sometimes we kind of make excuses for music that doesn't really sound that great just because we're like, oh, it's so raw, it's so much emotion or whatever. But he fucking struck lightning on the bottle on this one,
and it's not all like "Fuck Up My Face" that's just a hype kind of song. "Church on the Move" is another kind of one that's like more the beat on that one. I think it lends itself more to like kind of some hype shit.
Yeah, but the deeper tracks were the ones that I got more into. But like overall, it's great. Like,
all right, what did you think about
It Be Like That?
Yeah.
Did you say you didn't like the Jhené Aiko song that much?
It's grown on me more, the Wild Side. It's because I wanted there to be more to the song, but for what it is, though, I enjoy it. And they've had better collabs in the past. But I like it. What do you think of the Go Off song with Big Sean and fucking Russ? Because that was one that I said last year where I'm like, this one isn't very good. There are also some bars on here where, you know, there are a little bit of some corniness, Ab-Soul. He has some other bar, The Art of Seduction, where he's like, she says my penis is a genius, or some shit like that, where I'm like, yeah, okay.
I let it slide. I will let it slide because Ab-Soul's his lyricism is unique.
For the rest of I'm allowing a few kind of maybe a little bit sus bars because there's so many triple and double entendres on this album where it's like I can make the excuse for some of his weaker stuff. And the other song I didn't like on this one was Positive Vibes Only, just because it didn't sound like a Ab-Soul song to me. Do you have any thoughts about that one? Like, it's triumphant, it's positive, it's just the auto-tune doesn't work great, and the chorus isn't that great.
Honestly, I listened to this album when I was working out one time, and by the time I got to that song, I was like, kind of feeling...
It can be a good workout song. Message. Yeah, I can see that.
But now, like, just listening to it out of the blue like
that... Think about it critically, But again, you haven't listened to, like, all that much, so...
Yeah.
Generally, but I'm glad you enjoy it.
Positive vibes about Ab-Soul.
I love Ab-Soul.
Let's talk also about SZA.
Yeah.
Because SOS was really great. I loved it.
I thought I liked it at first, and then the more I've been listening to it this year, I'm like, yeah, it's like, what, a 20-song album, and there's 23 songs albums, and there's like not a bad song on here, which is like a crazy feat. Like, there's some that I don't like as much as others, but like, there's some great songs on here.
Upon first listen, I was thinking that this might have fallen to that Lucky Day category a bit, where it gets too sleepy or too samey or something like that. But the more I listen to it, it's like there's like hits on like songs like Blind or like Gone Girl. Or
it doesn't all sound the same either. Gone Girl, Kill Bill. I didn't like Low at first either, because that one's like almost she does actually some rapping on this album, which I didn't expect. It's but dope, like. Because the Low song and the last song, Forgiveless, like the rapping, and I wasn't as keen on those ones at first because I'm like, I just don't know if I buy her as a rapper. But the more I listen to it, I'm like, no, these are catchy as shit. These are cool songs. I still kind of more prefer her in this.
Something that comes through when you listen to the album is that SZA can't really be categorized like so rigidly as either a singer or a rapper.
Yeah.
She goes on these vocal runs that are...
They're hard to kind of pin down.
Flowy, they're like a rap. It's hard
but also she's singing her heart out at the same time. She's a fantastic singer.
It's like SZA style music. Like, nobody really quite sounds like mixes the singing and rapping in that type of way. It's kind of hard for me to exactly explain.
Maybe I didn't like it, or maybe I just don't remember it at all because there's so many songs on here. But Used with Don Toliver, I don't really remember going back to that one very much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to get Don Toliver.
A lot of it is like the specific songs are... Like, some of them are maybe take them or leave them a little bit, but it communicates the overall point of the album and how she's feeling, more so.
Very well, the loneliness aspect and almost toxic femininity or whatever of being like, I'm trying to fuck him to forget you type of thing, or like, kind of being petty or something. Her like admitting her faults and stuff, and also being super personal and getting really into the nitty gritty.
I wasn't expecting such a mature take on like getting a BBL and stuff like that, and like what it's like something about like I'm chasing fat ass in all directions, or whatever like that, and like what that could mean exactly. When a review of the BBL, crazy.
I won't be speaking on
ass,
that.
Though. That ass though.
It's a sight. It's something to behold. Also, the whitest thing I could say about a BBL.
That ass.
G. Wilkers. That's quite a rump.
No, but I did find it interesting how like the Low song has these Travis Scotty
ad-libs in
ad-libs
it as well.
and a Travis Scott pocket that she jumps into.
I wonder if it is just a reference. Like Travis Scott did it, and SZA's like, no, I want to do it instead.
Well, I thought
he's on this album.
That was interesting because then Travis Scott is on a very SZA sounding.
Yeah, and this is like to me song. Travis's best feature in like
a long
probably
time,
years. Like at this point, I love his contribution. I love that song.
It's amazing. Like, and like just the idea of like that. SZA does the Travis Scott thing on her own, and then has Travis Scott jump into her world, and they mix the worlds well, and like it's not like either one is trying to be in a different
I love Smoking on My X-Pack. Ghost in the Machine with Phoebe Bridgers is great. I love the theme that they stick with there of like kind of being like a emotionless kind of robot, but like wanting love and shit like that. Well, I'm very curious what you think about
F2F?
The next two songs, F2F and Nobody Gets Me, because a lot of people, when this first album came out, were saying that, like, this album's great, but those two songs are trash, they're just trying to be fucking raw, she's just trying to get into this lane, like, they're super cut and paste or whatever, but I love these two.
Yeah,
these
no, that take is completely fucking stupid.
F2F is a great fucking rock fucking ballad, like, I love it. And Nobody Gets Me is a super beautiful
there's
moment
a lyric
on the album as well.
There's a lyric from F2F that I want to highlight for a second here. Now I'm ovulating and I need rough sex.
Yes, sir. I'm saying she's no holds barred. She's giving it.
I related to that bar. You know, when I'm on my cycle or whatever. I have no idea how the female.
I know nothing about the female.
Whatever's going on down there, I totally get it.
That was a white guy thing.
No, but I feel that song super hard. She does her own take on the whole emo, new wave emo stuff that is the SZA-y version
because
of it.
It's still great sung vocals, and it's not like it's still SZA.
And maybe like the beats does sound kind of like stereotypically emo pop whatever stuff, but like she makes it work with
and
her,
I still love it in the context of this album because
and I thought Nobody Gets Me was a devastating
that's
and
a fantastic
great
moment,
track.
one of my favorites.
You know, you felt her pain on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Conceited is not that great of a song.
I'm starting to forget. Conceited, Too Late, and Far. I don't really remember some of these. Special I like a lot. Shirt I love.
But it ends with and
Good Days has been a banger.
Good Days is, I'm not exaggerating here, it's probably one of my favorite songs of all time.
Really?
It's got me through some rough time.
I mean, didn't it drop around that time where you moved
out? It's been out since like 2020, so I've been listening to it for a long time, and then recontextualizing it within the album gave it a whole nother life to me, you know?
Wow. I will say I never fully appreciated the song on its own until I started listening to this album, and then I'm like, oh, this is like one of the best songs on here for sure.
Her verse at the end about, she has a whole lyric, which I can't exactly remember. I'm not going to repeat it. just about the world is ending and I'm just trying to keep my mind straight, you know, like that kind of thing.
I will say it's a little bit... Yeah.
Whatever, I'm not... Sorry, I was going to try to wrap the whole thing, but then whatever. I Hate You is also a track that came out beforehand that I think sounds really good in the context.
Yeah, I will say I'm not a huge fan of the instrumental, but I love her contribution. I don't know, I'm still a little bit mixy on that one. I will say it's a little bit weird to end the album off on Forgiveless, just because it's a little bit... It's like rapping... has Old Dirty Bastard on it.
It starts and ends with kind of rapping stuff.
Yeah.
So...
I get it.
I like the last track a lot.
And I will say as well, in preparation for SOS, last year I did listen to Control, her 2017 album for the first time. And I love that one as well. Probably more than this one even. Because I
gotta go back and listen to it.
Only because I think... there are more standout moments and songs that I can pick, like, if I'm looking at the tracks list and being like, oh, I remember that one and that one's great. Even though I've probably listened to this one more, just because that one I listened to, I'm like, okay, I see what people are saying, and I think, like, in general, it makes more sense as an album. It has like, some, like, vocal things from her mom, like, tying things together. It all sticks to a theme, like the intro and outro are great, and it's not 23 tracks long, so it's a little bit better of an album to me.
Well, that was like her first big thing, right?
Yeah, and that one is like pretty much undisputed classic for R&B heads. But this one is, I do really like SOS as well. I don't know if it would. Do you think it would crack your top 15 of last year? If we're redoing our list right away, not quite. Yeah, I think this probably fits like my top 20, maybe 25, but.
When I'm in my sad boy bag, like, and I'm going for a walk, you know, like, I'll definitely throw this one on to feel some feelings for sure. But it's not necessarily like I don't always listen to this type of stuff, but I'm with it. But yeah, it's probably a little bit too like long and drawn out, and like not all the moments work. If we're really like trying to put it in a list or something like that.
Yeah, and to me, I'm comparing it to Control, which I prefer Control.
I'm not really ready to compare it to things yet because it's like I don't know.
Still only been out
I don't know enough about it.
2 months,
SZA,
max. Yeah.
Like I haven't listened to the Control thing yet, but I will for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like from Absol and SZA, we're both waiting a long time, and
they both delivered like crazy, I think.
And that was the last big hurrah for TDE, and now it's going to be all
over.
Well,
I was going to say, what do you think? We talked about it a little bit last year, but I think Sir for sure is coming.
Oh, yeah, true, sure.
This guy, Lance Skywalker, is dropping an album tonight with features from Absol and Isaiah Rashad.
I believe it's Skywalker.
Is it Sky? There's like 2 or 3 I's in there, so I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but...
Well, if we're going off of Star Wars pronunciation...
Yeah, but it's S-K, like I, Walker, so I don't know. Anyway, so he's dropping... Schoolboy Q's a golfer now, so I don't even fucking expect anything there.
He's dropping...
Doechii, I guess, is pretty exciting. Maybe Doechii will drop something, but...
That's it was cool to get at the end of the year. Female rapper that deserves more attention than...
Yeah, shout out Doechii. Alright, we can get into a few singles now. I think it was cool that J. Cole did this thing where he rapped on a type beat of his, just from a random YouTuber. I think the song is like okay. Again, it's him kind of like you said earlier when we were listening to it. It's kind of, he's done this a few times now where he's talking about he's rapping about how he has nothing to rap about anymore. Which, I mean, clearly he's still rapping about it, so that's good. But like,
he has nothing else to rap about.
But do you expect
if you rap in a forest about having nothing to rap about, but there's no one there to hear it?
Yeah.
Did that tree really fall? You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool to give a big platform to these YouTube producers who are just going. I mean, it is. I was thinking about that the other day. The life of a music producer and how
unsung heroes.
They're just in their zone, like, and who even knows what their life is or where they're from, or like, but they're just. Yeah. There's just an endless supply of beats coming down the pipeline, and just like trying to inspire people.
Yeah.
To write, works of art.
Yeah, they are unsung heroes, like Josh mentioned. What do you think?
The song didn't really, like, whatever.
It's not that crazy, the song. It is cool just because he said in the text that is, like, the cover for it, he was like, this song would have just stayed in a folder or whatever, but I'm trying to be better about that and just giving music out or whatever, which is...
Yeah.
I think more artists should do that because, again, people, like, pass away with these huge vaults and it's just like, well, is it just going to sit there or do you have to go through it? Like, what's really,
I did definitely, like...
It's better to have that out, to put them out.
And just label them as demos, just to give them out, I think.
And instead of having some, like, label vampire come
Yeah,
around
true.
and take
Yeah, after you die, they put Ice Spice on a verse. And
No, bro. Okay, if I ever fucking die, like y'all ain't getting Ice Spice on my shit, or do fucking. Actually, you know what?
You gotta get the Anderson .Paak tattoo that says like do
Well,
not fucking.
like we're just talking about the SZA album. Like, would Old Dirty Bastard have actually wanted his verse on there? No,
I mean, it's hard.
He probably would. Yeah,
I think it's hard. But who's to say? Maybe he's sexist. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how, because I think the fall off is, or J. Cole's like probably due for an album.
That's what I was about to say. It was like how he's talking about working on a new album on this song, and I'm just thinking, well, I hope this album is good. And
I hope there's it's not just all about him being like, I'm old and I can't really keep up with them anymore type of, I hope it's really good.
He did put it into words, something very true about how his stuff doesn't hit the same because he's farther away from quote unquote real life, or
well, that's a struggle that
being
many
closer
rappers
to
deal
poverty,
with.
giving your stuff more of life.
I think it's something that rappers like Logic refuse to believe, and it's like maybe you should just really think about how, like, man, like, because Logic just keeps because this new album College Park, not to bring him to Logic again, but
Jesus, man, you're obsessed. I'm in love.
You complained to me about talking about radio.
It's a love-hate relationship with
Logic. Will you have this rose?
But the new album College Park is supposed to be a concept album of him rapping about his come up and shit. So again, it's going to be about retreading the same water he's talked about his past or whatever. Yeah. So it's just like at least with J. Cole, he's acknowledging it and he's like wanting to try new things and like he's being aware of it and he wants to still talk about new shit or whatever. But
I think
it's good that J. Cole's saying
J. Cole just gets too self-referential sometimes, and I just think not everyone's like a fan. Like,
I suppose, yeah.
Like just write a song about love or
yeah.
Yeah, I think
I don't think he's. I mean, given the off season, I don't think he's run out of ideas at all. I think he's still. I think
but I just mean like just bring it back to simplistic and just like songs about like stuff that people live, like life. And not everything has to be about.
Everything has to be changing the fucking world and like
my career, the industry, my growth, this, that.
It just reminds me of how the classic Jimi Hendrix interview where he talks. I think it was on Dick Cavett or something, where he was talking about how it's like Dick Cavett was.
Shout out Dick Cavett.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
I don't know who it is. I have no idea who that is either.
Both of them are dead. But
Jimi Hendrix is dead.
I got someplace.
The poster's right fucking there. What the fuck, bro?
He
Yeah, put that up somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta respect that king.
My dad's old poster from the teenage
70s,
fucking bedroom.
Or whatever.
So what was Jimi Hendrix saying again?
Yeah, he was saying what you were saying, Jimmy. Was
oh shit, Jimmy, he's here. Nice.
How's
it going? Were you actually putting acid underneath your headband, or is that?
Live interview with
Dick Cavett was saying, "Oh, it must be like really weird to sing the blues when you're rich and famous and stuff like that." And Jimmy was like, because I'm on a first name basis Jimmy. Mr. Hendrix.
I call him James.
Yeah. Mr. Hendrix was saying how like that can actually, like, having more money can actually introduce more problems, and like how like that you just get like becoming rich and famous and all that stuff can just like. It gets rid of your old problems, but it brings in new problems.
Yeah, exactly. Which J. Cole was also referencing on the track.
But it's about those, like, sometimes those new problems are not relatable to...
Exactly. Yeah, so people don't want to hear it, right? Especially if you're a rapper like J. Cole, who is about relatability and
that's a good point.
That kind of shit. Not to derail the podcast once again.
It's fine. We're not really talking about anything.
SZA is live with Lizzo right now. Should we tune in?
Yes.
I'm going to see what's going on here.
They just dropped a new song.
Did they?
Yeah.
She's saying it's giving a bunch.
We should do more shutting up and listening to black women on this show,
And just like that, I tune out.
Yeah, you're right.
If you say it's giving too many times, I'm like, I'm just not gonna listen to you.
It's giving what? What is it giving?
Josh, this is fucking... freaking...
Not to be...
Sir, this is a Wendy's. Why are you saying...
I just turned into George from Seinfeld.
All right, let's keep trudging along here. Kelly Uchis' new song, I can't remember what, something about flowers. I bring you flowers. It's a Valentine's Day song. I think it's great. Kelly Uchis does it again. You're on Instagram. What's going on?
I was just thinking about how
we're an hour 30 in.
About how it was pretty cool that Kelly Uchis did that like video where it's like, oh, new album, English, French, Spanish, or English, Spanish, and then
English, French?
French was one of the options
really?
at the bottom. I was thinking, okay,
French album would be crazy.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
That'd be nuts.
But yeah, it was just cool that they were saying like, okay, what do you guys want, basically?
Yeah, that's
And
direct.
Obviously, the last one was Spanish, so we probably want an English album next. But I mean,
what's there to say? It's a great Kelly Uchis song. She's going to deliver.
It's not really rap, so I can't really be too critical.
Well, again, rap adjacent. This is what we are, and we've talked about Kelly Uchis' music before. So, to me, it's just like there's nothing much to say about it other than that I like it and it's good and her performance is great, and I'm excited for the new album. So, it's coming out March, I think.
All right, so we can check another thing off the list. Are we almost finished here?
Yeah,
we're only going for an hour 15.
I will. Okay, let me get off some hate here. Trippie Redd Mansion music. I listened to the whole thing. It's like an hour and a half long of Trippie Redd music, which is I deserve something for that alone. I hated the Neon Pegasus rock album that he did, but I loved the Trip at Night hyperpop one. And it was my number 10, I think, of that year. 2021, I want to say, and I think it probably is going to fall down a few spots now, but it's still like I still do enjoy it when I go back to it. But this album is more so like just kind of hard trap, kind of dark vibes, and it gets old real fucking quick. It gets real quick. What'd you say?
Baby shows up on it.
The Baby's on it. That song sucks. Pretty much it's bad. It's pretty fucking bad.
I wanted to listen to it, but I haven't really listened to it yet. But like,
I'll say,
Travis Scott song on
that
it.
That one's bad.
Ski Mask.
Ski Mask one is funny because it's called Toilet Water, and the whole chorus is just flush, 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 and there's a bunch of toilet flushings. It's stupid as fuck, but it's
they're
fun.
almost asking us to make fun.
I know it's stupid, but I like it.
It would be cringe to even make fun of.
I know. The Little Baby songs suck. The Future one is actually pretty good. Psycho. Nightcrawler with Juice WRLD is like probably one of the better posthumous Juice WRLD features. He's like actually going off and rapping and like almost like screaming and shit. And Trippie Redd delivers and the beat's great. Like that's probably my favorite one on here.
I see that there's a guy called Fiji Macintosh on here.
I have no fucking clue who this guy is, but this one's pretty good. I like that one too. It's almost like it's like kind of half like dark, kind of moody trap shit, and also there's some hyperpop on here. But it's not nearly the hyperpop stuff isn't nearly as good as the other his other album full of it. Like the song with Summers is okay. Ski Mask one, the Chief Keef ones are not bad. The one with Swag Like Ohio Part 2 with Little B is actually pretty good. Kodak one kind of sucks. Again, Rich the Kid one. Leonardo Wick, who fucking cares? The Lil Durk one's okay. Yeah, it's a mixed bag, but overall it's a fucking slog.
You really listened to this whole album, eh?
Twice all the way through, yeah.
God damn.
And I've saved like 10 songs from it, so it's not nothing. But it's even the songs that I have saved. Some of them like I'm probably not gonna aren't gonna last to the end of the year. So, just wanted to get some hate off there.
We are excited about new Daniel Caesar, though.
Yes, I'm gonna have to listen to his older shit to really get.
Yes.
But he's dropping a new song tonight. We're recording this on Thursday the 9th. So new album's probably coming soon.
Yeah,
but
he put out a song called "Do You Like Me?"
Yeah.
It's good. It's nothing really that I haven't heard before from Daniel Caesar. Like
right.
it's kind
I'm really enjoying it, but maybe that's because
it's kind of like along the same general.
But isn't that kind of what you want
vibes
from him? In a sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying like I wasn't like thrown off by it or anything, but it gives me good feel. It's giving.
Oh God,
that's the
I'm gonna. It's giving a knuckle sandwich, buddy. If you don't.
Oh my God,
don't shut
brother!
Your trap. This is the whitest podcast we've ever done, aside from the Brockhampton ones.
Zoinks!
Yeah, it's just like Daniel Caesar. Like his music is always about like unrequited love. Yeah. He's kind of like more evolved, like a relationship, love based subject matter.
Right.
Like this isn't your grandpa's R&B. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you're getting into your yawning / burping phase of the show, we should probably start wrapping up here. But let's talk about Slow Tie.
Yeah, 2 new songs.
We're pretty hype about new Slow Tie.
Yeah, that's coming out, I think, is it the end of this month or maybe it's next in March. It's called Ugly. It seems to be going to be like a punk, almost a punk album, which I'm super excited for. But both the 2 new songs that come out are kind of, Josh mentioned how it's like bipolar shit of like Selfish is a super angry, kind of self-loathing type of track almost. And then Feels Good is just it's kind of a bop, and the music video is cute, and I've only heard it twice.
He's dancing with his fans in their bedrooms.
I've only heard it like while watching the video, so I can't really say much about it. It's only been like twice or whatever. It just came out
I really like the beat they had for Selfish and grimy
it's really like intense kind of.
If anyone could pull off a punk album who's also kind of a rapper, it'd be Slow Tie. Denzel, I could see doing a good one too, but
and
Slow Tie would be up there.
His rage and his like sort of somewhat political bars, but he doesn't go too like political with it, but like it just kind of generates like all the energy that you'd want from
That's a good question actually. Is what other rappers would you want to see and what genres of rock?
This could be a whole segment.
Like Denzel Curry would do like metal, Slow Tie would do punk.
We already kind of got that. It's like a lot of this is like we've already sort of got in different ways.
But a whole album, like
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one to maybe we could do a segment on at some point, but off the top, we've been doing almost 2 hours, so off the top, I don't know. We'll be able to come up with one, but
I want to hear Kanye West on all metal.
No,
I feel like rappers can't really go metal unless they are. I don't know. You can do like this new song we heard by fucking whatever Denzel Curry and like
Josiah Maddox is on it, and Midwest is on it. It's crazy. I like it. But it is like a metal-y kind of punky.
But the thing is, like, it's screamo rap stuff.
But it's still like a trap kind of. It's not like metal. It's sounding really.
Really
like,
not truly like.
Yeah.
I feel
because
like
you're screaming over trap drums doesn't mean that it's metal.
I know, but he's a huge metal fan.
Yeah, but even Denzel isn't doing because Denzel kind of has said like
there's a difference between influence and genre switching.
Music, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because the closest thing Denzel has done to metal is the cover of fucking the Rage Against the Machine song.
Right, he's never actually done like a song that didn't have like a rap.
Yeah, like have some sort of rap basis. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I would like to see it, but I think he's done with the whole. Because on this Killers and Robbers song,
because he did the jazz version of everything. So that's
sure.
kind of like a different pocket that you're going in anyway. But sorry, I interrupted you.
But on the new Killers and Robbers song by Josiah, he's not even screaming on it. He's just doing a chorus or whatever. So he's like, it's interesting to see him now, kind of, because he's kind of said that like he's not really as angry and depressed anymore. So he's not really about the whole screaming over shit like he used to be on Taboo or whatever. But he's still on a song where fucking Maddox, out of all people, is also fucking screaming along to this shit. So it's interesting to see how he's trying to fit into some of this shit and how he'll go from here. But Maddox is kind of fire. I don't know.
What was his big hit single?
I don't know. It was with Fidget Spinners, the video. That's all I remember.
It's a video of him playing with Fidget Spinners.
That's the only fucking reference I had to go off of.
Man, that was such a random time in music.
Yeah, 2017 or some shit was nuts. Speaking of Midwest, there's a new
song
with
fucking men
that's
at this
true.
Point. It's so annoying.
This Midwest guy, I knew him as like a hyperpop kind of guy, but he's at least seems to be going in this kind of a Denzel kind of wave, because he had a song with Denzel called Tally, which I really fuck with. The beat's super hard.
Yeah,
both of them kill it. Not much else to say about it, but I thought the music video
Denzel Curry's
cool
been doing a lot, but he also and again talking about our year-end list, I also mentioned Armani White being a new rapper that I don't like.
No, that was Armani Caesar, no?
No, Armani Caesar is a female rapper from the Griselda.
Oh, yes. I fucking get those confused all the time.
Armani White did a song right at the beginning of
with
the year
Denzel
called
Curry.
Goated, where he's just like, I'm goated. I'm goated.
Yeah, I didn't listen to that one because I'm
goated. I'm goated. It was... It was really not good.
Yeah, and Denzel did another one this year at the beginning of the year with this guy Jaleel. With an
I was about to make a joke about that. Like, who am I getting Josiah and Jaleel mixed up?
Those
are different guys.
Those are different guys. I'm partial to Josiah because I kind of went through his some of his old catalog, and there's some good stuff on there.
Well, he had the Art of War song, right?
Yeah, and a few other ones with Rico Nasty, and there's one with Travis Baker that I really like, actually. Or Barker, whatever
I don't have the energy to correct you anymore.
I know.
Dude,
real quick.
I have a job. Like, I'm tired.
I know.
Like...
We'll get real quick. Check out the new Boss song, a new album coming out. I really like it. It's really melodic. The video is really cool. It's called Diamonds. This Vic Mensa Thundercat song, I love the video. I liked Vic Mensa's part a lot. Thundercat kind of almost seemed tacked on at the end, but I fuck with it. A new Vic is coming soon. What do you think of it? Did you, as a not a Vic Mensa fan, what do you think of the song after the one listen?
I kind of like what he's been doing a little bit on the low key, but
yeah, I mean, he's.
I'm keeping my cards on.
Yeah, wait for the next album, I think, and then we'll talk about.
I'll jump in if you can listen first.
All right.
Be the guinea pig, and if it's worth it.
I mean, I'm a Vic Mensa fan, so I'm a probably like most of his shit.
I never really listened to it too much. So
the V tape and the I tape are really solid.
I like the new, like just him jumping out of the plane and playing guitar.
It's crazy. And other than that, there's a Corday and Anderson .Paak song, which is like, it's pretty good, but mainly because of Anderson .Paak.
Anderson .Paak's not good enough to save Corday though, like on that one.
I think it's better than most of his last album, but again, it's not saying much. Like, doesn't touch the RNP song, which they did together before, which is like one of Corday's best songs.
Yeah,
I like that they're sticking with the theme or whatever, but it's kind of a sleepy track. It not really my favorite, but
I like the beat, I like the energy, but the lyrics could have done a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit basic lyrically, but
all right, well, and like that,
it's past your bedtime apparently.
And let's do the rose ceremony.
All right, Josh. Who are you giving the rose to? Who had a better podcast, me or Alex?
Oh, I thought you were saying the rose ceremony as in the ending of Midsommar, where we dress up the winner up in roses and then burn the other at the stake.
We can do that if you want. I mean,
I want Ari Aster to direct my Valentine's Day.
The tattoo on my arm should have made it clear. SF gang for life, man. Yeah, we staying here. Drive around, windows down, blasting hype beast. I'm watching art ho films unsarcastically. Call me the Green Knight to a royal majesty. Anytime you're stressing, just remember, let it breathe.